October the 31st.
Thank you. And courtroom 2, good afternoon, whenever you're ready.
Hey, Judge Morrow, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are too.
Yes, sir. We're going to start off with position number 10, Ms. Smoot.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smoot. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Smoot, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006247F with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history? Do we have pretrial on? Doesn't look like pretrial is on as of yet. Good afternoon, Ms. Dunlap. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can proceed.
Thank you. So on August 14th, Ms. Smoot was in the store of Dillard's located at 1372 Market Street in Atlanta. She had already left the scene by the time officers arrived. Miss Charity Lawson, who was head of security at Dillard's, observed her shoplifting and then going outside into her black BMW. She's the registered owner of the vehicle. They have this on camera. She stated that her friend Stephen Miller was in possession of the vehicle at the time of the shoplifting, but was unable to provide any contact information for her friend. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial services, stay away from 1372, which is Dillard's, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Is this your case, Ms. Kim?
Yes, this is my case, Your Honor.
Would you object to a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away from Dillard's at the location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Good luck to you, Ms. Smoot.
$1,000 signature bond, Your Honor?
Yes, through the jail.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to position number 8, Ms. Morris.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Morris. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon, yes.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Morris. You've been charged in case 23 CR 006245H with battery. Do we have pretrial on yet? Do you have the history, Ms. Dunlap?
This is her first arrest one. Yeah, this is her first one.
Okay, you can proceed, Ms. Dunlap.
Defendant and her boyfriend were engaged in an altercation, which the victim, Miss Shamara St. Julian, who can sound for the victim when appropriate, tried to break up. When she tried to break up this fight, the defendant turned on her, hit her in the head many times, knocked her to the ground. The Miss St. Julian provided pictures of her bruises. She's also tried to talk to the defendant about the altercation. The defendant claimed she had no recollection of it. When they were supposed to talk, she stopped returning the victim's calls. State is looking for a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from, it looks like the incident happened at 1133 Huff Road, Northwest Atlanta. Unclear if is that her address or not, and to stay away from the victim's residence, which is 2400 Parkland Drive, Northeast Atlanta, and no further contact with the victim, as well as one anger management course.
Okay, Ms. Kim, any objection to any of that?
No objection, Your Honor, except that we prefer jail so that way she can return to work faster. She has a bachelor's degree and she's been here in Georgia for more than 10 years. She works and engaged as a HR personnel. Other than that, we have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness. no further contact with Ms. St. Julian, and stay away from her residence, the Parkland Drive address, and also 1133 Huff Road. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Morris.
This is per judge.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Nice of you to join us.
I just got the calendar and the link, so.
I was expressing my delight in having you with us, Mr. Howard. That's all.
Thank you.
Who do we have next?
This is gonna be position number 3, Mr. Hodges, Brian Hodges.
Oh, Moore's a recommend. Sure.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hodges. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hodges, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006244A with theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. All he got is, he got an open DUI out of Hall County and the 06 furnish and alcohol conviction.
Okay, Ms. Dunlap.
Defendant was on scene when officers arrived regarding a shoplifting call. Officers reviewed the footage. Defendant was in the store, seen removing numerous items from the shelf, shattering them around the countertop. He also removed, looks like a JBL speaker from the shelf and put it in a black grocery bag he brought in the store with him. He was able to be identified because he called his mom using the store phone. So the state is looking for signature bond through the jail, asking for stay away from the location, which is AT&T store located at 1580 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Good afternoon, Ms. Abden. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Any objection to any of that?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the AT&T on Holcomb Bridge Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hodges.
Good. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 12, Mr. Kobe Walker.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006249E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No, jail was a recommendation.
Okay. Who's presenting for the state?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Liz Baker here on behalf of the state.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Baker. You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. On October the 17th, 2023, Mr. Walker and his girlfriend, Amy Karshner, K-A-R-S-H-S-C-H-N-E-R. So that's Amy Karshner, K-A-R-S-C-H-N-E-R. Were involved in a domestic dispute at their residence at 1511 Hampton Drive in Sandy Springs. The responding officer observed that Ms. Karshner had visible injuries. She informed the officer that she had been texting some friends, that Mr. Walker became upset. She attempted to leave. He would not let her. She eventually left and returned when she thought he had cooled off. Later that night, he struck her in the head while she was in the restroom. He picked her up and threw her in the floor. The officer was able to document visible injuries. He does not have a criminal record. It's my understanding that she will be present today by Zoom, and she is asking for contact. The state's recommendation is that any bond that is set be through pretrial services, and that he complete a family violence intervention program. And I would also note for the court that a $4,000 bond was previously set by the issuing magistrate. And I would ask the court to sound for Amy Karshner.
Okay, let's see if Ms. Karshner is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Karshner with us? Is this you on the iPhone, Ms. Karshner?
Judge, if I may, if she's not available, then the state would ask for no violent contact with her going forward based on her conversations with the victim witness advocate. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, of course.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's her on the iPhone or not. Good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, good afternoon. It is my case.
Okay, yes, you can proceed.
Your Honor, my client is 24 years old. As pretrial has stated, he has no criminal history at all. I was able to speak to Ms. Karshner, and she indicates to me that she would like to have contact with my client. Based on the fact that he has no criminal, Your Honor, I would ask the court to give him a signature bond and get out of jail, that it be conditioned on no further violent contact with Ms. Karshner.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Karshner, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you. Next, we're gonna go to position number 5, Mr. Marcus Mattis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mathis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mathis, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006254G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
What's his number, Judge?
Position number 5, Mr. Mathis.
8 total. Last arrest was back in January. 2 counts of simple battery family violence. That's open. 23 CR 000532G. Got an open battery DV. 23 CR 000534G. That's an open pretrial case. And a 2018 simple battery DV conviction. That's all.
Okay, Ms. Dunlap.
So victim was involved in a physical altercation with defendant was involved in a physical altercation with Miss Ayanna Morrison, who is the victim. We can sound for her when appropriate. They got into a verbal altercation. Miss Morrison put his TV outside. When he returned to the apartment, he choked and slammed her. She advised she was able to breathe, but she had visible signs of abuse on her face and neck. She denied medical attention, and she had a gash to the left side of her nose. The state is looking for a $2,000 cash bond, a stay away from the victim, Miss Ayanna Morrison, no further contact, alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from 5100. It looks Welcome All Road in Atlanta, which looks like it's the victim's address.
Yes, Ms. Abden.
And Your Honor, if we can just sound for the victim, complaining witness, if she's on the line.
If Ms. Ayanna Morrison is with us and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so, Ms. Abden.
All right. So my client is 28 years old. He's born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. He has his GED. He's currently gainfully employed at Amazon, where he's been working for the past 4 to 5 months. And he works doing maintenance in the warehouse. He is a father to 4 children, 3 of which live in the home with him. They're all minors, age 7, 4, and 1. And he also has a 4-month-old baby who does not live with him, lives with the child's mother. Your Honor, he is financially responsible for these children. He's also responsible to pick up and drop off. He's the only person who can take care of them and their primary breadwinner. It's my understanding that this case and the prior family violence cases do involve the complaining witness, Miss Morrison. They are no longer together, Your Honor, and my client firmly denies these allegations. He tells me that Miss Morrison got into a fight with somebody else that day, and he was not even present at the location. He does not object to any no further contact. As I've stated, they're not together. They have no contact. And it's my understanding for my client that she's actually moved out of state. Neither party resides at the incident location, so a stay away would be okay with my client as well. And he is obligated financially to his 4 children, Your Honor. His indigency is a concern. The longer he remains in jail, the more likely it is he's going to lose his job at Amazon. And so I am asking Your Honor to take that into consideration when setting bond today. I am requesting a signature bond for my client. That is all for now.
Your Honor, the 2 open cases from January is with a different victim. Her name is Natasha Jordan, not Ms. Morrison.
It will be a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Morrison. Stay away from the Welcome On Road address, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mattis.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 4, Mr. Timothy Hughes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hughes. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006252J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. 2022 ag assault battery DV. That's open. 22 CP 213219. Got an open reckless conduct. 23 CR 001566J. He went to felony earlier for criminal damage to property. That's a $2,000 bond. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Baker, is this your case?
Judge, it is. The victim in this case is Mr. Harneil Goodlow, Goodlow. This incident occurred in June of 2023. Officers responded to a person injured call at 3210 Roswell Road. Upon their arrival, they observed that Mr. Goodlow was on the ground. He was breathing, but not alert or conscious. A gentleman at the scene, who is Mr. Lacos, was rendering first aid to the victim. He told the officers that he saw another male on top of the victim, assaulting him and also biting him. Due to the victim's condition at the time the officers arrived, he was not able to communicate with them very well. He was covered in scratches and bruises, had multiple visible injuries. He was transported to Grady, where he was treated. After being treated and released from Grady, he provided officers with identification information showing that Mr. Hughes was the assailant. We've spoken with the victim, and I do expect that he will be here today and want to speak with the court. He is fearful of the defendant. They are no longer together. The victim has a separate address that I'm not inclined to share today unless I have to, except to say that we are asking that there be no further contact whatsoever with the victim, Harneil Goodlow. Would also ask the court to take notice of the open aggravated assault case pending in Superior Court from 2022 involving the same victim. We're asking for a $4,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, that the defendant stay away from 3376 Peachtree Road, which I believe is their prior residence, no guns, no drugs, no alcohol, and also a family violence intervention program.
Okay, if Mr. Harneil Goodlow is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear that he's with us, Ms. Baker.
I'm here. Hello.
All right.
Hello. I'm here.
Oh.
I just don't know how to work it.
Okay, Mr. Goodlow, you're going to have to activate your camera for me. I'm happy to hear from you, but I'm going to need to see you. Mr. Goodlow, I believe that you're on mute now also, so you'll have to unmute yourself and activate your camera.
I'm trying to figure it out. There was an option at first okay, here it is.
Okay, there you go. If you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court?
Honestly, I just want him to get help. The alcohol, I think, played a huge factor in like every time when he shot at me and when he beat me unconscious and all these other things. Honestly, I just think if he stays off alcohol and drugs, it will help him. Maybe some anger management classes. Again, I was a victim. I was beaten bad by somebody that I truly care for. And honestly, I just want him to get help.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it, Mr. Goodlow. Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay.
My client is 34 years old. He tells me that currently he is not working, Your Honor, although he has an interview scheduled. He denies the allegations. He tells me that he and the complaining witness have been in a relationship for some time or had been in, and that he has been the victim of some violence at the hands of the complaining witness. He tells me that they've had some interaction together, which has caused both of them to be arrested on more than one occasion. We are okay with the no further contact, Your Honor, because I think based on what my client tells me, that it's probably best for both of them. I know that he has an own case to the court. I'm going to be inclined to give him a signature bond, but I would ask the court to give him as low a bond as possible so that he can get out of jail and try to get a job, which is what he tells me that he needs to do right now. Mr. Hughes, you have the right to remain silent, and I think you should exercise it.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Goodlow.
He does work. He's an escort for Rent.men. He makes a lot of money. Also, if he tries to deny, I have the video of where he.
Okay, we'll work all that out down the road. This is just a bond hearing this afternoon.
All right.
Mr. Goodlow. Okay, you'll have your opportunity as time goes on. Okay, if nothing further, it's going to be a $3,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. Goodlow, stay away from Mr. Goodlow's residence, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Hughes. You also, Mr. Goodlow.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 1, Mr. Gibbs. Hey, fellas, I need you to stop talking. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gibbs. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbs, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006250B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is ninth arrest, 2020 ag robbery out of Minnesota and simple robbery. And before that I got an 03 robbery burglary conviction.
Yes, Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Tegan, Tegan Bunch, Bunch. This incident occurred in April of 2022. The incident location is 2460 Peachtree Road, apartment 1810, that's 1810 in Atlanta. Officers responded to a domestic dispute call. They spoke with Ms. Bunch. She explained that the defendant had previously been her boyfriend, that they were in the process of attempting to reconcile. He was there to spend the night. She disclosed to him that she was pregnant. He asked for proof of a pregnancy. An argument ensued. He grabbed her from behind, pushed her on the floor after she began packing his belongings and asked him to leave. He became angry. He choked her to the point where she passed out or was about to pass out. She was able to get up, get away from him. He came after her, threw her on the ground again. She managed to get away a second time and make it to the elevator bay where she was living. He grabbed her from behind, placed her in a chokehold, and she managed to get downstairs, and concierge contacted 911 for her. She had numerous injuries, including swelling to her face, bruising on her chest. Her mouth was bleeding. Excuse me. She had bruising on her right thigh as well. And those injuries were documented by the officers who responded. I've been unable to get in contact with the victim, but this case is being considered for a strangulation assessment. I would ask that the court sound for the victim, and we are asking for a $4,000 surety bond, that he have no further contact with Tegan Bunch, that he stay away from 2460 Peachtree Road, Unit 1810, no guns, drugs, or alcohol, and also family violence intervention.
Okay, if Ms. Tegan Bunch, thank you, Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If Ms. Tegan Bunch is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, my client is 41 years old. He strongly denies the allegations, Your Honor. He tells me that he and the complaining witness were formerly in a relationship, and she became upset because he wanted to end the relationship. He has not seen or interacted with the complaining witness since, I believe, June of 2022, when this incident allegedly happened. And he does not live in the area. They don't live together. In fact, he's given me an address which is almost 100 miles away from where she lives. I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor, but he does not have any history of family violence at all. And given the fact that this happened well over a year ago, he's not in contact with the complaining witness. I would ask the court to consider giving my client a signature bond so he can get out of jail. He tells me he is gainfully employed and wants to get back to work. Nothing further, Your Honor.
It will be a 5,000. Yes, Ms. Baker.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. I did want to point out that I do believe we may have overlooked prior assault, a prior assault with bodily injury from 2001. I don't know if that was against a domestic partner or not, but I would like for the court to have that information before making a decision. Thank you.
At that time, my client would have been a teenager. This is well over 20 years ago.
It will be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Bunch. Stay away from the 2460 Peachtree Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you, Mr. You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Gibbs.
Position number 9, Your Honor, Mr. Joe Porter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Porter. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Porter, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006246J with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is 10th arrest, 2019 obstruction, fleeing an officer. 2019 possession of marijuana, NOLO. 2017 battery DV arrest. This was a jail recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Ms. Dunlap.
So officers responded to an incident between the defendant and Miss, it looks like Brittany Watts. They got into a verbal argument regarding Mrs. Watts' older child who tripped their younger child, who was also the defendant's son, it looks like. He became angry and grabbed Miss Watts by her neck. He struck her in her left eye and caused a small laceration. Miss Watts called the police and the defendant left before they arrived on the scene. We are looking for a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with Miss Watts and the minor children. and a family violence intervention program, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Kim?
There's actually Brittany, is on the line right now. Shall we sound for her first?
Yes, Brittany Watts is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon, Ms. Watts. If you'd like to address the court, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
As far as Joe Porter, this our first incident that we ever had, and we did agree to do family therapy because we all was going through a lot at that moment. But besides that, he's a good person and a good dad, and I really do need him a whole lot. But we did agree to do family therapy.
Okay, this hasn't happened before.
No, never happened before, and he's been there a whole lot since my son dad dealt last month. He been there for my son a whole lot and myself as well throughout his dad death.
Okay, and you're not afraid of him?
No, I'm not.
And he supports the children?
Yes, my youngest is his son.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, thank you for being here. Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client, Mr. Porter, is 31 years old and he is gainfully employed at 48. So
Is that Ms. Kim? I think Ms. Kim went out on us.
I can hear you, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, so it's Ms. Kim.
I think she's frozen.
Let's give her a moment to see if she can get back with us. Okay, as we wait, I'm not sure when if she realizes.
Your Honor, I just texted her, so I'm pretty sure she just lost connection or something.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Abden. Here she comes.
I apologize. I was literally disconnected, so I'm using my cell phone. But anyway, Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through jail as he was recommended, and also no further violent contact. This happened 2.5 months ago, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right, for the battery family violence, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. For each of the cruelty to children, it'll be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail for each. Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Brittany Watts, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Porter.
Thank you.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 6, Mr. Kevin McKenzie.
Good afternoon, Mr. McKenzie. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. McKenzie. You've been charged in case 23 CR 006253C with simple assault, family violence, and reckless conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fourth arrest. I got 2013 battery. The bond assessment said it was an open case and call for ag stalking, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. I have to check on that. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Dunlap?
Yeah. So the defendant and his uncle, Mr. Gregory McKenzie, they were working on a job and then got into a dispute over pay. Mr. McKenzie, the uncle, advised the defendant that he could not pay him until the job was finished. The defendant became aggressive, advising he needed his money to pay child support. They got into a hostile argument. Mr. Gregory McKenzie, the uncle, further picked up a tool from the ground because he was coming towards him. The defendant was coming towards him in an aggressive manner. The defendant retreated to his car, an older model Dodge Ram, it looks like, where he took out his gun and began to shoot at his uncle 3 times in an unknown direction. There's camera surveillance around this location, but no footage was observed. Several neighbors heard gunshots, and one identified neighbor advised that the defendant fired his weapon. The state is looking for, on count 1, a $2,500 surety bond, on count 2, $15,000 surety, a stay away from the location, which is 645 Wildboar Court, Fairborn, Georgia. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further contact with his uncle, Mr. Gregory McKenzie, and to surrender all firearms to the Portland County Sheriff's Department during the remainder of this case.
If Mr. Gregory McKenzie is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. McLeod, is this your case? Is this, I'm not sure if this is this Mr. McKenzie on the Motorola? If you can hear me, Mr. McKenzie, okay, you'll have to unmute yourself, Mr. McKenzie. There should be, I'm not sure what device you're on, but maybe 3 dots at the bottom of the screen or a microphone. Let's see, while he's trying to do that, Ms. McLeod, would you like to go ahead?
My client is 40 years old, Your Honor. This is his uncle, Mr. McKenzie. I was able to speak with the uncle, and he tells me it was just an unfortunate situation between himself and his nephew. It was just a misunderstanding. He does tell me that he does want to have contact with his nephew, who is his sister's son. The incident location is my client's mother's house, where his uncle also lives. He tells me that he doesn't really live there, but he does visit there a lot because his mom lives there. So we would ask that any bond be conditioned, Your Honor, on no further violent contact between himself and his uncle. And this is based on my discussions with the uncle as well, Your Honor. My client denies that there were gunshots. Nothing was said about any gunshots to me, Your Honor. He denies that. So this is all new, the allegations that there were shots fired. My understanding is no gun was found there and no shell casings or anything like that. Based on what my client tells me, Your Honor, and his limited criminal history, I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond if the court is disinclined to do so, as low a bond as possible so that he can get out of jail. He tells me that he does have a 1-month-old child that he is helping to take care of. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I could put on record that the mother, defendant's mother, witnessed the gunshots as well as the victim, and there were multiple neighbors who witnessed the gunshots.
Okay. Does not appear that Mr. Gregory McKenzie has been able to get back on with us. As such, for the simple assault, it will be $1,000 good bond. For the reckless conduct, a $3,000 good bond, total of a $4,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Gregory McKenzie, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. We appreciate it.
Thank to you.
Next, Your Honor, we got position number 7, Mr. Mitchell, Thaddeus Mitchell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mitchell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. You've been charged in case 23 CR 006248D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
My bad. Who we on? Somebody was at the window.
Position number 7, Mr. Mitchell.
With your 4th arrest, 2022 possession of a Schedule 1 and an 09 robbery, first offense.
Okay, Ms. Dunlap.
Victim, Miss LaShawn Riley, we can sound for her when appropriate. She arrived at our domestic violence unit. She made a report that on January 29, 2023, she was visiting her child's father, defendant. During the visit, he was drinking and he decided to start an argument with Miss Riley regarding her Lyft purchases on his credit card. Ms. Riley then responded to him that she was fed up with his gaslighting and emotional and physical abuse. Defendant became upset, ordered her to leave. The fight escalated to him pinning her to the couch, placing his hands around her neck and forcing her to the wall, and then slinging her out onto the breezeway. As a result of the attack, Ms. Riley sustained a visible scratch to her right elbow and a slightly swollen and discolored pinky. She reported the incident the next day because the defendant broke her phone. There's no witnesses or camera footage of the incident. So the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from the location, which is 2524 MLK Drive Southwest, apartment 8108. No further contact with the victim, Ms. LaShawn Riley, Family Violence Intervention Program, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
If Ms. LaShawn Riley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Is this Ms. Riley on the iPhone? I believe so. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is actually, we have no objection to signature on bond and also no contact with LaShawn Riley, even though this happened on January 29, 2023, and after that, they still had a contact. However, we have no objection if Your Honor does not want them to have any contact. However, this 2524 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, that place is my client's place, and LaShawn Riley does not reside there. She left on January 29, 2023. So we would like to make sure that my client can return to his own home. And that's it, Your Honor. Everything else, we have no objection. Thank you.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with LaShawn Riley. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mitchell.
Your Honor, the only case I have left in the courtroom is Mr. Madan. He's not on the calendar though.
Okay, he's the add-on case.
Your Honor, we just got an add-on calendar sent.
Okay, I
wasn't
have.
able to retrieve the add-on, Your Honor.
Okay. And are we gonna have to go somewhere else for positions 2 and 11?
Position 2. I think we have 2 waivers. Position 11, Mr. Sherrod Thomas is a waiver.
Okay,
That was per Derek Howard.
Okay,
In position 2, Mr. Hill was a waiver also.
okay, thank you. So I'll go ahead and take up Mr. Madian. Good afternoon, Mr. Madian. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Yes, I do.
Thank you.
You-
Mr. Madian, you've been,
I apologize for interrupting. However, none of us interviewed him.
oh, you haven't spoken with him yet.
I did, Miss Kim.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All
on
right,
it.
no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Madian, you've been charged in case 23 CR 006255Y with simple assault, family violence, and terroristic threats and acts. I'm not sure, Mr. Howard, were you able to pull his history?
Yeah, he was on the pull sheet. He got
Okay.
20 total. Last arrest was in June, failed to appear. Got open burglary, 3 counts out of DeKalb County. Got open disturbing the peace out of Mississippi. On probation, burglary in the 2nd degree, burglary in the 1st. That's 15 SC 135957. A couple of probation violations from 2022. 2022 trespass conviction. A couple of probations from 2021. The burglary conviction, 2014 probation, failure to appear, and 2012 theft of services conviction. That's all.
Okay, Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Zakiya Madian. That's the defendant's sister, Zakiyah. The incident occurred on October the 15th of this year. The incident location is 5501 Glen Ridge Drive in Atlanta. The complainant is the defendant's mother. She contacted the police after the defendant began pushing his sister, Zakiya Madian, got in her face, screaming violent threats to her, threatened to kill her, stated that they better move everyone out of the house, that he was going to quote unquote detonate this place. And also stated they're going to let us out, or they're going to let me out tomorrow, and I will detonate everybody and everything in the house. The victim says she's afraid of the defendant. She's afraid that he'll hurt her. And these statements were made in the presence not only of the defendant's mother and the victim, but also the victim's children. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with his sister, Zakiya Madian. Stay away from 5501 Glen Ridge Drive in Atlanta. No guns, drugs, or alcohol. And also family violence intervention. Thank you. And I would ask to sound for the victim if she's here.
If Ms. Zakiya Madian is with us this afternoon and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Abden.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 31 years old. He's lived in Georgia his whole life. He's currently out of work. He did miss an interview yesterday, Your Honor, and he has another interview coming up tomorrow afternoon. And so his indigency is a concern, Your Honor, and his potential earnings and income are also a concern. He denies the allegations. He tells me this was a misunderstanding and it was blown out of proportion. He also tells me that they've never had prior instances of violence. He would not object to the no further contact and the stay away, but he does need a one-time law enforcement escort to gather his belongings. I'm also objecting to the family violence intervention course, Your Honor. This is not his sentencing at this time, and I ask that that be delayed until later in the process. These are just allegations at this time. Since he does not have any financial resources to make any bond today, Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond.
Charge will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, which makes it a total of a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. no further contact with Zakaya Madan. Stay away from the 5501 Glenridge Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Madan.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that amount.
Total of $4,000 signature bond through the jail, $2,000 for each charge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, let's go to position number 2, the first waiver, Mr. Andre Hill. Does Mr. Hill have a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, he got 23 total. Last arrest was in August, failure to appear. He got a lot of shoplifting convictions. Most of them come out of South Carolina, but he did have one in Georgia. I got convictions, 2 from 2019, 1 from 2014, 15, and 2010. And the open possession of meth out of Fayette County.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Baker?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Hill was arrested following a shoplifting call at the Publix at 3730 Carmia Drive. That's in Atlanta. Officers responded, met there with the public security guard who advised that the defendant had taken $378 worth of meat past all the registers and was attempting to leave the area without paying. He attempted to flee from the security guard when he was confronted. Officers arrested him, and on his person, they found a Georgia driver's license belonging to a Mr. Dietrich Chapman. Officers later discerned that that is not the defendant's name. They did speak with Mr. Chapman and discovered that his driver's license had been stolen from his vehicle while he was at a restaurant on Peters Street in Atlanta. So that is where the other charges stem from. The state is asking for a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Ask obviously that he stay away from the Publix on Carmine Drive in Atlanta, that he have no contact with Dietrich Chapman, an anti-theft course, and no guns, drugs, or alcohol.
Aside from the anti-theft class, Ms. Abdon, do you have any disagreements with any of the recommendations?
No objection, Your Honor. My client did ask to waive his appearance, but he did ask me to put on the record that he does deny these allegations.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail for each count, which makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Publix at Carmia Drive. No further contact with Mr. Chapman, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So the final case, I believe, is the waiver at position number 11, Mr. Sherrod Thomas. Let's see, does Mr. Thomas have a history, Mr. Howard?
I didn't have him on my pool sheet.
That's going to be a dismissal, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So position 11 will be no pros. Okay, that appears to be the end of the calendar. I have someone who is with us on the iPhone that's been with us. Ma'am, were you here to address someone today? I did not. If you'd like to.
I was just watching the case for Thaddeus Mitchell. That's all.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you're fine, ma'am. Glad to have you. Thank you. All right, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Hey, I'm ready.
Good afternoon. Bye, everybody.
Good afternoon, Officer Milton. See you later. Thank you.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be October 31st. Position number 1 is being reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is being reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 3, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 6 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $4,000 good bond. 7, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 8, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. I say that kind of cautiously. 9 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. 10, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. I'm told that position number 11 will be null prost. And 12 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. The add-on calendar is going to be reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections?
Okay. We
Yeah,
see
we're not
everybody.
hearing- Okay, now we can hear you. You were chopping up real bad.
Oh, sorry about that. We will see everyone next time. Thank you all.